The plumber. Maybe someday a mini print of you will be on my layout. Skateboarders were all over in that time, and the era that the big layout's going to be. Skateboarding was huge in this village. Almost everybody had a skateboard. Almost everybody used one. I didn't. I couldn't stay on one. But skateboarders around the village would definitely be something that would be needed. And of course, here comes the cat. Fortunately, one of our co-workers was diagnosed with the showstopper. And so we had extra work to do. So we were working, we stayed up I stayed up all night Saturday night. And then Sunday morning we were working until about 1:45 p.m. And I fell asleep and was out for 12 hours. So unfortunately I missed Sidetrack Sunday. Missed watching it live. I watched all of Ray's replay. That's one I really shouldn't have missed. There's, from what he said, it sounded like there was some confusion as to what the Fairbanks Moore switcher is. I didn't know it was. H12-44, but I did know it was a Fairbanks Morse and a switcher. It's either an H10 or H12. The one person had mentioned an H16-44. The H16-44 was a road switcher. It looked very similar to the GP9, GP8, GP9, only a lot boxier. Kind of a cross between a Jeep and a Baldwin. It had a short nose, a high short nose, but still a short nose. And while the switcher, the H10-44, the H12-44, did not, because they're a switcher. And the only switchers that had a short nose is, of course, the Genset switchers, the 3GS21B, 3GS21C, RP20BD, RP20CD, things like that. The MK1500D, that's also a switcher that has a short nose. The RS1325, also switcher with a short nose, and the NW5, also a switcher with a short nose. But majority of the switchers will not have any type of nose other than the long hood. Hopefully they get it looking a little better. From what the picture he showed, it looked like it was kind of ratty. Looks like it was one of those that needs some TLC, which is the case in a lot of museums. There's a bunch out there. I have a bunch. I have several locomotive books. One I would recommend is, unfortunately, I don't know where it is right now, because that was one I acquired before the move here, and I haven't seen it since we moved. And that is a locomotive. That is a book that is on the second generation diesels from the SD40-2 through the SD70 ACE and ES44. It tells a lot of details about locomotives. Most of it I already know by heart, but it's I think it's a second generation diesel spotter's guide. I think that's what it is. Because it tells you the exact differences between them, the amount of doors in the side, the size of the radiators, the length of it, the horsepower, all that stuff. I can't remember. I think it's something about the second generation guide, the guide to second generation locomotive, something like that. I don't remember. It has been 4 years since I've seen it because it got put in a box somewhere and I don't know where it got put, which is unfortunate because I wish I had that. That would be a good one to go through on live streams. And Sadie, you do not need to be on my lap. Come on, lay down there. Yeah. There's two books in the series. There's one on first generation power, which is the early diesels up through the SD40s, before the -2 line. And we have a lot of boxes. We've moved 17 times, counting here. And there's a lot of stuff that was put into boxes, and we just never unpacked it because we were in apartments. And what was the point in unpacking it? Because as soon as we started, it was Murphy's Law. As soon as we started to unpack things and started putting things away, something happened that we had to move. Either rent was messed up, or the landlord was being horrible, which we had a lot of horrible landlords, one of which used to break into our house, into our apartment when we were gone. And so it's been 4 years here, and a lot of the stuff hasn't been unpacked because it's hard to, once you get into that thing of don't unpack, because if we unpack, we're going to have to move. We need to be ready to move. It's hard to get out of that. Spending 25 years with that mindset that no reason to unpack, because as soon as we unpack, we're going to have to move. And it's just, now there's a stack of books on locomotives right over there. In fact, one of the titles is Steam Locomotives. There's also a book on classic American steam, trains around the world. I can't read all the titles because there's a couple books on the O. Winston Link photographs over there. There's a bunch of books. There's a whole stack of books. It's about that high. But the book I'm talking about is not among them. And good magazine that I would recommend. I don't subscribe to it, unfortunately. I am hoping to eventually. But that's Trains from the Past. I picked up this occasionally. This one I picked up because it's on the KCS, and if you follow Robert from the Flying Crow, you know that this is the era he models. Hey, Greg. This is the KCS in, it says 1972, but this mainly has photos from, this one is October of 1976. That's the exact year. Then we have 1972 down here. And this one is 1976 as well. Which, since in next year I'm going to be visiting Robert, I figured that this would be a great one to have because this is on the. It's more north. It focuses more north of where he models, but it's still the Kansas City Southern in that era. And New York, New Jersey freight area freight action. This is more New York City, the other side of the state, but it's cool to see the different things, especially the different some of the different freight cars, because some of those would still be around in the 1980, which is when one layout will start in. Oh, I can't read that. There we go. And for streaming, that means I can finally try live streams or do a live stream. I didn't know webcam before, and the third-party software had followed. That allowed me to use my phone as a cam. It was buggy and never worked when needed. Yeah. This isn't an old magazine. This is third quarter 2022 issue. This is this comes out 4 times a year. It is put out with the same people. I think it's the same people who do. Yes, it's White River Productions. Same people that do Railfan and Railroad. They're www.whiteriverpublicproductions.com. They have information for subscriptions. Four issues is $36. $46 for first class. Well, it's not really the glare, it's Wigwag's comment. It comes to here, and then with the window, I can't read it because the text is white. But if I hold my hand here, it serves as a darker background and I can read the white print. Unfortunately, this is the only place that I have to stream that a window wouldn't be directly behind me, and this is a more comfortable chair. This is something that you won't see ever. The caption reads, "What would you give to go back to the early days of Conrail? On February 6, 1977, Paul Holtz captured Conrail train CH3 at Hopewell Junction, New York, behind a half dozen former Penn Central SW-1500s. Look at all that traffic being pulled by 24 axles yard switcher muscle. This is New Haven's later Penn Central line to Maybrook, New York. That is until the Poughkeepsie Bridge burned just 3 years before this photo was taken. With the bridge gone, the already traffic-starved Lehigh and Hudson River Railway was now essentially the Lehigh in a 150-foot free fall into the Hudson River. Train CH-3 originated at the old New Haven Cedar Hill Yard in New Haven, Connecticut, and terminated at Selkirk, New York, running via Derby Junction, Danbury, and Beacon. Hopewell Junction is where the New Haven met the Newburgh, Dutchess, and Connecticut Railroad that was acquired by the New Haven in 1905, who later folded it into their Central New England subsidiary. That is not something you see every day, other than on the Union Railroad. You'd see that on the Union, but you won't see that anywhere else. Manufacturers Junction used to be that. Manufacturers Railway used to be like that, but they don't do that anymore. Now here's something to be modeled. That picture, that's the New York Susquehanna Western with a high-nose C420 leading, C420 number 260. Behind it's two C430s in the NYSW paint, and then 3 SD45s in patched from Burlington Northern. I think every single one of those locomotives that are in that picture are going to be modeled. I'm going to be modeling, at least trying to. If I can find them. When I have money. If I can afford them. Wow. Yeah, there's something for people to model. Springs on this gondola have to be on the verge of exploding. Apparently this car was loaded by the world's greatest Jenga player. And look at those massive those makeshift bulkheads. I'm just thankful the little Plymouth WDT was remotely controlled. You could not pay me enough money to sit in that cab. This scene was captured at the Consolidated Papers Mill in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin on May 27, 1992. That has a board there and a tiny little log there, upright, holding all of that from rolling onto the locomotive. And there's probably something somewhere at the other end of that is holding that. That is crazy. That's insane. That is insane. That is just insane. And the October issue of Railfan Railroad is their annual Alco issue. And as an ad for the new Rapido PA units on the back. Okay. We only have one person here that's saying anything. It says two, but Palmer was the third one. But those who watched the replay, Canadian Pacific had acquired the Central Maine and Quebec in 2020. And now they have decided to subcontract their lease out to the beginning of August, to Finger Lakes Railway, specifically to their Mid-Coast Rail Service. So there is at least one FGLK B23-7 that is now in Maine. The CP just couldn't leave the CMNQ alone. They had to buy it out and then tell somebody else to operate it. That's ridiculous. And the Livonia of Lakeville has filed paperwork to purchase control of neighboring Shortline Ontario Midland Railroad. Ontario Midland is one of the other Alco railroads in the area. There's the Livonia of Lakeville, which controls the B&H Rail Corp, formerly of Bath and Emmitsburg, and Western New York, Pennsylvania. There's also the Genesee Valley Transportation, which owns the Delaware-Lackawanna, down around Scranton. Also owns Mohawk and Rodick and Northern going out of Utica. They own the Depew, Lancaster, and Western in Batavia and Depew. And the Falls Road Railway, those are all controlled by Genesee Valley Transportation. Then there was the Ontario Central, which was a subsidiary of the Livonia and Lakeville. They were 50% owned by them. And now that was purchased by the Finger Lakes Railway, and that's now part of the Finger Lakes Railway, and the Ontario Central no longer exists. And then there is the Ontario Midland, which ran from Webster over beyond Sodus, over to, I think it's Wolcott or North Rose, somewhere out there. And it ran down to interchange with CSX. It doesn't really go beyond Williamson right now. I think that's the end of the customers. It was at Williamson in Wayne County. And that has two former G&W S4 switchers. I think they're S4s. It has the former Bicentennial unit, which is no longer Bicentennial paint, and then it has one of their switchers that the engine block is cracked, and it was used for a shoving platform. I'm not sure if that still exists or if they scrapped that. But I am not surprised that LANL would want to buy Ontario Midland. LANL is a very profitable company. They might, and they've been able to build up business everywhere else. So they hopefully will be able to bring some life back to the Ontario Midland, which has been kind of struggling. See anything else interesting in here I can talk about? And Canadian Pacific is repainting has repainted some of the SD40-2Fs back into Canadian Pacific paint. Means they're keeping them, at least for a while. Back on my controller. I've been playing Grand Theft Auto. I got up at I think it was around, it was 2 in the morning, and I've pretty much been playing GTA 4 ever since, until I moved some stuff around to start live streaming, and I managed to do it in surprisingly short time. It only was a minute late going live. I don't know how much longer how long I will be live today. I'm left at 2. All her other lessons have been changed to a Thursday. So, yeah. As I've said in a couple of the chats and live streams, the windshield for my car has been fixed. It's still my brother's own Xbox 360. I have the Xbox 360 Slim. Which unfortunately does not have an internal hard drive. I did not think I would need one. And now I have Battlefield 4. And because I have Call of Duty Ghosts, I need to get an external hard drive for it. I have the tab for Amazon on the Google Chrome app on my phone, waiting for when I can afford to buy it. They have a whole bunch of them. That's $170. I think it's $175 for the correct one. And I want to get GTA 5 too. I want to get that too because they have that. There's a secondhand store. It's the Second Time Around Consignment Shop in Leicester, New York, within sight of the tracks. Unfortunately, whenever I'm there, I don't see the RNS going to the salt mine, but maybe someday. But we used to have GameStop, which was in Geneseo, and then we had a secondhand game store, which was GameZilla in Warsaw. GameZilla, the guy decided to go only online, and he stopped having a store, and that place was full. I mean, they had stuff from the original PlayStations all the way through to Xbox One, and they sold new Xbox Ones, new PS4s, because that was before the PS5 came out. And they sold, you could get PS1s, you could get PS2s, you could get Xboxes, you could get probably Nintendos, all sorts of different games, consoles there. Unfortunately, that closed. I bought a lot of games there. I probably have some of them here. That's a GameStop one, I think. No, that's not a GameStop one. Is this a GameStop one? Oh, this is a GameZilla. GameZilla. Yeah, I don't have that problem. Another reason why I wanted to get an external hard drive and to get an official external hard drive is I was given this game, never been able to play it because it's an Xbox game. I'm not too crazy about it, but I was given it, so I might as well give it a try. But you need an official Xbox external hard drive to play for the game, for the Xbox 360, to allow you to play Xbox games on it. So that's the external hard drive I'll be getting, which is why it's more expensive. But I also have to replace, I think it's this one. Yep. I like what happened. Chris, I like what happened to my Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 disc. I'm not sure how that happened, but I won't read. It apparently got heat damaged. I'm not quite sure how. I don't remember it ever being in the window. But yeah, that kind of sucked. There's an article in here in the Mohawk Adirondack Northern. Which when these photos were all taken, which was 1990s to 2000s, they had a whole bunch of locomotives that were painted or were still painted for BC Rail. M420 number 642 and C425 804 in two different BC Rail paint schemes. I believe both of those have since been repainted. The only game, there's two games I wish I had never bought, and one of them is Forza Motorsport 2, and the other one is this, MX versus ATV Untamed. Both racing games. My brother is a big Forza guy. He loves the Forza games. He doesn't play video games much anymore. I'm more of the Need for Speed type person. Forza Motorsport, no matter how hard I try, I cannot win a race. I'm always dead last, sliding all over the track. I can't keep it straight. It's like I slow down to about 30 miles an hour to go around the corner, so it goes around the curve, and everybody's way ahead of me. I have no idea. It's probably 3. The only track this mentioned, it says there's over 100 tracks in Forza Motorsport 3. Most renowned real-world tracks and exotic road courses, including the famed, Le Mans Circuit de la Sarthe. Yeah, whatever that is. And of course, the version I have. This was given to me by my brother. I'm not sure if he bought it somewhere or if it was one of his. This one mentions 3 tracks, and three tracks. Mugello Circuit, Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca, and Suzuka Circuit. I don't think 4 is on the 360. Forza Motorsport 2 is only on the 360, and I think 3 is on both the 360 and 1. Because this was done... Okay, where's the copyright date? 2010. That might be before the 1 came out. I don't remember. Some bad games that are missing. Probably sitting somewhere. But decided that everything is fine. I need to get a bigger shelf in my games because this is full and I have more. I bought this. This I saw for PC a while ago. I thought it'd be a really cool game. I mean, I have a shelf full of World War II and War on Terror and CIA junk Civil War is an excellent thing to add to that collection. Now if only I could find. Now if only they would make a game in Korea. I haven't gotten the Medal of Honor. I actually. I shouldn't say that. I do have Medal of Honor. But I think there's other Medal of Honor games that I don't have. But I have the Medal of Honor that is based on the story of the SEAL team that was inserted onto a mountain that had a lot more resistance than they thought it had. And that's actually my favorite of my games. I like it more than Call of Duty. It's frustrating at times, but it's an awesome game. Awesome graphics. And my controller disconnected. I don't want my controller to move around a little bit here. I'm standing at the police station because I want to do the police station missions, but I don't want to take the cop car when there's another cop around because I don't want to have to lose a wanted level first. There we go. No. I have to pause that again. I have one on a level. Yeah. TV's right here. The cat's gotten it dirty. Where's the wavy cause? That cat has gotten it dirty. Because she gets into things and gets dirt on her paws and then treads it all over everything. I don't know where they went. Oh well. Maybe next week we'll be doing some stuff on the layout. It's pretty easy to bring a 2.5 by 4 foot module down here. I think I thought I had everything figured out how I wanted it, and then I took a look again at the Sanborn maps, which I can access online, and discovered that instead of there being even spacing between each of the tracks, there wasn't. There was only space between 2 of the tracks. There was the track closest to the depot, and then the track right next to it, and then there was a driveway between that, and then there was the track that the loading dock was at. Which, that makes sense. I'm not quite sure. The description in the article on the depot construction specific. It wasn't very clear on what they meant. So I had to go by that, and then I took a look at the map again. So you have the platform of the freight depot, and then you'll have the track that's against it, and then the next track is against that track, as close to it as I can get it without cars hitting, and then the driveway, and then the other track. So I should be able to fit in the creek. I might have to make it narrower or make it right along the edge, but I should be able to fit the creek. Maybe have it go down the middle of the creek, having the edge of the module going down the middle of the creek. That might be working better, because I kind of do want to have a little bit of Main Street Warsaw in there too, because that it would allow me to have some more people on the layout, some vehicles. Unfortunately, there is no layout update right now. It has sat up there since I took it to ask a friend his opinion on track spacing, and I haven't done anything with it since. The car, and then almost every single weekend for the past month has been other carriers being out and Mom and I having to cover for them. Well, you don't have to, but it's extra money. So it's extra money for my mom, but that's still extra money for the household, and means that we can get the roof done out of the barn sooner, which hopefully she's been talking about doing it, but she hasn't done it yet. Hasn't gotten around to it yet. Hasn't gotten around to getting the home equity line of credit yet. I should have put these to charge. I have a whole bunch of Energizer rechargeable batteries. I have 6 down there waiting to charge. I should have put them to charge before I started this. But, oh well. I'll have to remember to do it later. I want to get the at least the freight depot operational, so I can do work on that, but I just haven't. I didn't want to cut the track until I was absolutely sure on the spacing, because I don't want to cut it again. It wouldn't be wasted, because if it was the wrong size, it could be used on the big layout or somewhere else on the modular layout, but I didn't really want to go through the effort of cutting the track, even though it's not much effort with a Dremel tool. I didn't want to do that work without, and then have to redo it. But at some point, I will cut the track and put the nails in like I had it in the temporary layout, and get it so I can run a train again, and then take things off and bring it down and paint it down here, because I have to paint the foam. And I haven't decided yet if I'm going to paint the foam all brown, or if I'm going to paint it brown where there would be dirt, and paint it black where the cinder driveways would be, because it would make sense to paint those parts where the cinder driveways are going to be black, and maybe where the railroad bed is going to be black. Make it easier. It would, make it better for scenery, but it's 2 different colors, and yeah. to trace out where the track went and where the track, other than where the cinder driveways are, and lots of work. I'm not used to talking this much, so my mouth is getting dry. What I should have done for this stream is I should have brought down some of those boxes I have to make mock-ups and built a couple mock-ups. Like one for the depot and one to represent the elevator factory and stuff like that. And I could have put them on the modules and had something 3D other than the cars. But I didn't think about that until just now. I thought about that this weekend and work got busy. Anyway, as I was saying about the car, windshield is fixed, so I can buy it. I don't know if I am going to buy it right away or if I'm going to wait until I have my license. Wednesday, my mom wants to call different places. There's BOCES and there's Genesee Community College that do the 5-hour course. She wants to call them and see if they have anything that would fit our schedule, because the only courses that they have available, that GCC has available, is an in-person class that is 8 a.m. to, I think it's 2 p.m. is not doable for me, and on a Saturday, definitely not doable. At 8 a.m., I am not awake enough to take any type of educational stuff or do tests, which there's periodic tests in the 5-hour course, or periodic quizzes, rather. And the online course is 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. and it's via Zoom. I don't have a way to do Zoom. I don't have the Zoom app. I don't have a way to do that. So that isn't going to work. There is online courses that you watch like videos or you read things, and you have to call in every once in a while and do this voice biometric imprint thing. You start out making an imprint at the beginning, and then through the course you call in periodically to do that, and that's probably how I'm going to do it. If Mom hasn't made those calls by Wednesday, I'm going to sign up for that course on Wednesday, and I will be doing that as I can, because you can do it as you have time. You don't have to do it 5 hours right straight through. And then I can get the 5-hour course out of the way. They send my completion certificate, or the information that I completed the course, right to DMV, and then I can schedule my road test, and I can go pick up the Volkswagen, go take my road test. Well, I have to learn how to parallel park my brother first. My brother is the king of parallel parking. He can do it with one-handed and blindfolded. My mom is not very good at parallel parking, so my brother is teaching me parallel parking. So once I get parallel parking out of the way, then I can take my road test, get the parallel parking and the 5-hour course out of the way. I can take my road test and get my license, and then register the car in my name, which is something I want to do. I don't want it registered in my mom's name. And then right now I have almost $200, which should be enough to cover all that. The 5-hour course is coming out of what's left of the stimulus check. The rest is coming out of money I earn. I'm over a budget, and hopefully I'll have enough left over after all that to go somewhere, to chase a train or something. Gas prices are holding steady. Unfortunately, with that car, it's a turbo engine and needs 91 or better. But the gas station here in the village is $4.79 for premium, and it's not even 91. It's 90, which I'm not sure how much of a difference that makes, but there is 2 gas stations around that it's $4.40. Down that way, it's $3.99 for super. That is amazingly cheap, and yeah. So chasing a train that way, it would be hopefully I have enough gas in the vehicle to get down there and put $20 or $40 in the tank and fill the tank. It's an 8 or 10 gallon tank. I'm not sure. This stomach's starting to grow. Much battery is left in my phone. 35%. I should plug in this portable battery. 35% is a lot, but for this phone, but I don't, because I'm live streaming, I don't want to not think about it and then all of a sudden my phone die. That would be not good. Reconnect my controller. Wait for somebody to say something before I... and that's perfect timing. Just got home, so this live stream is done. Wasn't planning, didn't know how long she would be, but that's about an hour. That's a little over an hour. So, from CP Silver Springs, Milepost 368 of the Norfolk Southern Tier Line, keep on loving trains. Tim out.